Tonight on Murder, She Wrote. Well, what happened to my MacGuffin?
You know, I've always wanted to hear Jess talk about MacGuffins. I don't know why, but that really did it for me. Hey everyone, Pushing Up Roses here, and today we're looking at a season 12 episode of Murder, She Wrote called Murder Among Friends, which should also be called Murder, She Wrote Takes a Swing at Friends. Yes, Friends, the show. So by the end of Murder, She Wrote's run, things were looking a little bleak. After 11 years, CBS decided to move the show from its Sunday 8 p.m. time slot to Thursday, same time, pinning it against Friends, a show that appealed to a younger crowd. Not only was CBS looking to target a younger audience, sponsors also preferred the more youthful shows, so Murder, She Wrote was completely snubbed. Lansbury responded, "I'm shattered. What can I say? I really feel very emotional about it. I just felt so disappointed that after all the years we had Sunday night at 8, suddenly it didn't mean anything. It was like Gone with the Wind." Because everyone involved was pretty heartbroken and there was not much they could do, they thought, you know what? Let's just make fun of Friends. And they did. They really did.
Who would have thought a group of 20-something young people sitting around all day long discussing their sexuality would turn out to be a top TV show?
The episode begins with a familiar tune. I'll be there for you. Then we cut to some patty cake, as you do, followed by Jessica, who is educating the masses about the MacGuffin for a television program. Her time is cut short because the producer is more concerned about the hit show, Buds. Yes, Buds. It rolls off the tongue so well, doesn't it?
Bug?
No, Bud. B-U-D.
Anyway, the staff writer Jean and Diane, the Phoebes look-alike, discuss a rumor going around the set. One of the characters might get killed off at the suggestion of new management. How many John Denver look-alikes are in this series? The producer, Ricky, wants to keep all of them around, and her husband tells her she should probably work with the management. This irks her.
Well, maybe we could save some money by firing you.
How come you talk nice to everybody but me?
Because you're my husband.
And also, your hair is very silly. Ricky's husband learns about the patty cake and he is not too happy that his wife is sleeping with the Joey character.
How you doing?
The detective in this episode is played by the same actor who played the horny butcher in The Sins of Castle Cove, meaning also that, yes, the cop from Wayne's World is back.
No way. Wait.
His son plays one of the characters on Buds and he wants to make sure it stays that way. He also looks mildly constipated when he talks. Joey Clone laments to the Rachel clone about sleeping with Ricky, claiming he did it because he didn't have talent and wants to keep his job. Ricky, having learned nothing from Billy Joel, interrupts a tender moment and leads him away.
You know what Black Widow spiders do with their discarded mates?
Hug them and kiss them and love them forever? This guy, Timmy, meets up with Jess and admits that he believes he'll be the one let go from the show. Jess asks him why he feels that way, to which he responds,
Just something in my gut.
"That's just the cheese you ate earlier." Jess attempts to reassure him about his talents and also tells him that television will not be the end-all be-all for him.
And it doesn't begin or end with some television comedy. Believe me.
It actually begins and ends on Twitter. Rachel Clone drops by and tells him that the script has been rewritten completely and they need to go on an early shoot the next day. Ricky and her husband, who is the co-executive producer, discuss the final script, which will kill off a character, and she blatantly tells him that she will be putting the final scene in her safe. I have never seen anybody look so proud and somewhat sexually aroused by a hidden safe before. She is really into it.
Oh my.
So into it that she tells someone where it is. Her husband shows her the photos of her infidelity and she's like, "Yep, I definitely did that." In a bit of a huff, he yells at the PI who's been spying on Ricky, then cryptically tells him to make it go away. Make what go away? That sounds like a hit, but the dialogue in this episode is so unclear that everyone's motives and behaviors are all so vague. Even the PI has no idea of what to do. Ricky pitches a new series idea to Jess, asking if she'd be interested in working with her, only to be interrupted by Jean.
Angling at this and angling at that.
It's just, you know, camera directions.
Well, it's not my style.
Ricky gets all up in his face because he uses terminology like angling in his rewrites and instructs him to write more like her. The next day, everyone is rehearsing for the early morning shoot with no idea who will be written off the show. Everyone is on edge, including the director.
Those kids are scared stiff that some of them are going to be filing for unemployment next week.
Well, I may have you for company, Joyful.
Is this episode just trying to make everyone a suspect? To add extra anxiety, Ricky also breaks off her extramarital affairs with Joey Clone, and boy oh boy, does he have a searing response.
Whatever.
May I just say that Lansbury is such a charming actress even when she's playing a character who is also acting for a television show. This little meta moment is so pleasant. Timmy comes back seeking out Jess's advice because his dad is overstepping his bounds with trying to keep him on the show, and the advice she gives is...
Do you know what makes Alfred Hitchcock movies so special?
The blonde actresses?
That's part of it.
Meanwhile, Phoebe Clone is having a hush-hush conversation about leaving the show to be in a Rob Reiner production, but she's stuck in a hefty contract with Ricky. Also, did you know that Rob Reiner directed Misery? I just learned that the other day and it blew my mind. That was a good movie. So I don't know what it is about Jessica that makes people want to spew their private lives at her. She finds Leo sitting in the dark and he proceeds to tell her about his marital problems with Ricky, about getting a divorce, you know, things you don't typically say to a near stranger.
I think you're telling all this to the wrong person.
He agrees with Jess and says he'll be honest with Ricky after a dramatic monologue.
Do you need anything?
Yeah, could you give me a coffee? So... this woman's dead. As you could probably guess, Ricky is this episode's murder victim, her television award recklessly dropped beside her body. It sure did take a long time to get to the actual murder. We're more than halfway through the episode at this point. Gotta set up all those red herrings, I suppose. Jess calls the motive right away, though it should be pretty obvious to everyone. The safe is open, and yet a ton of money is still there, so clearly someone wanted to read the final part of the script. Despite it being a complete conflict of interest, Detective Flint, Tim's dad, is on the case. The rest of this episode is pretty much a muddled mess. They find the final page is not stolen, but still in the safe, so Leo takes it to the set to tell everyone who was written off. It was Diane.
I'm the one.
Poor Phoebes. Leo informs the crew that Jean will rewrite the ending so that everyone can stay, which is met with an interesting response from Diane.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to be anywhere at a time like this.
I'm having a good time. Not. In the bizarre scene that follows, Diane starts singing Ricky's praises. Jessica makes the note that Ricky loved her character the most, which is why she gave Diane a pair of glasses identical to hers.
My eyesight's 20/20, but Ricky said I was funnier with the glasses.
Can confirm, people with glasses are hilarious. I mean, comedy geniuses, if you ask me. After Diane tells her that Ricky saw the world at a different angle, Jess has a minor epiphany moment. The new script had the word angling in it, which isn't Ricky's writing style, it's Jean's. He went to sneak a peek at the final script and realized that Rachel Clone would be the one written out, keeping Diane in her contract and away from bigger opportunities, so in a love-drunk haze, he rewrote the scene and put it back in the safe. This means he found the body after somebody had already opened the safe, read the scene, swapped it out, and then just left. That was certainly a choice. It also means that somebody else was in the office before Jean. Detective Flint starts to appreciate Jess's insight and clever methods.
Are you saying that you're interested in my thoughts, Lieutenant?
Only the good ones.
Ooh, we can save the bad ones for later. Leo meets with his PI, who is acting extremely suspicious. He asks for a raise, and Leo is like, what for? And the PI is like, I'm not telling you, but make me executive producer of your show. And I'm like, what? Okay, let's move this along because this whole thing is getting screwy. The cops figure out that Ricky was not killed with her Emmy, but with her new laptop. It makes sense as laptops weighed 500 pounds in the mid-90s. Perfect murder weapon. Timmy's fingerprints were found on the laptop because he assisted her with it earlier and is arrested. His dad discovered that the buds weren't paid equally. Timmy was being underpaid, and up until now, Detective Flint was fabricating all kinds of ridiculous alibis for him, but this, clearly being underpaid, caused him to go ballistic, so he arrests his own son. Jessica doesn't buy any of this bullshit and confronts Flint in his office. He says he doesn't believe his own son could commit murder either and starts spewing his weird, melodramatic concerns. Maybe he pushed him too hard, maybe he wasn't there as a dad, blah blah blah. Despite knowing it wasn't Timmy who committed the murder, Jess doesn't know who did. Until the eureka moment, the classic J.B. Fletcher epiphany. While discussing the film Strangers on a Train on her educational program, the lens scene reminds her of something: Diane's glasses. The glasses she found on Ricky's desk at the murder scene had no prescription in them. They were the prop pair Diane wore for filming. When she murdered Ricky, she accidentally left her fake glasses and grabbed the wrong pair.
Ricky was my friend.
Ricky is nobody's friend. If Ricky were an ice cream flavor, she'd be pralines and dick. Ricky would not let Diane out of her 4-year contract, causing her to miss the movie opportunity with Rob Reiner, and it made her so angry that she whacked her on the head with a laptop. No! Whew! Whew, that laptop swing is extra. She's arrested, everyone else keeps their jobs, Timmy comes back, and Jessica is made an honorary bud.
Bud.
Oh goody. I'm gonna be honest with you, this episode was really underwhelming. It's kind of fun to dissect as you go because there are so many characters and different motivations to consider, but the reason that makes it fun is also the reason that makes it bad. I never got attached to any of the characters, I found the writing and editing sloppy, and there was not enough Jessica. Also, what in the fuck happened to that private eye? He said all of those cryptic things about deserving a raise, implied that he killed Ricky, and we never see him again. If I may be frank, I think the writers were more concerned with taking a swing at Friends rather than creating a good episode. If you're going to jab at something, you can't just have some snarky lines and insert some lookalike characters, it also has to be good. And even the jabs are pretty subtle. If you didn't know about the time slot debacle, this almost reads as an homage. I wanted this episode to fall into the so corny it's good category, but the novelty of the Friends parody wore off quickly, and the mystery itself was on the weak side. I mostly watched it to see how blatant the Friends ripoff was, and yep, this is Friends alright. Murder Among Friends. Watch it if you want to, but if you'd rather not, that's fine. If there's an episode of Murder, She Wrote you are just dying to see me cover, please leave a suggestion in the comments, and until next time, happy sleuthing! Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video on Murder Among Friends. If you're interested in more murder mystery related content, I do have more to show you, but first... Have you heard of Patreon? Yes, Patreon, where you, the viewer, can offer me small amounts of money in exchange for rewards. Why would you do this, you ask? Because I really need a new pair of boots. Boots aren't cheap, let me tell you. If you don't want to give me money, that's understandable. You can like and share this video, and that's worth millions, I guess. Here's some other things you can watch before you go. On the left, we have a review of Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries, and on the right, we have my last episode of That Time on Murder, She Wrote, where things got very, very naughty. I hope you enjoy them, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.